A Department of Justice watchdog officially condemned the DEA this month following a report that the agency has recruited a TSA security screener to search bags for cash that the DEA could confiscate. The very existence of such a partnership highlights much broader concerns about the controversial legal practice known as civil asset forfeiture, which critics say contorts law enforcement priorities and props up a system of policing for profit.
Show me the money!
In a summary of its investigations, the DOJ's Office of the Inspector General concluded that the agreement violated DEA policy on a number of levels, while the OIG determined that the TSA informant never provided any actionable information to the DEA. It concluded that the plans to pay the agent out of the cash he or she helped seize could have violated individuals' protection against unreasonable searches and seizures if it led to a subsequent DEA enforcement action. Oh boy, you think? In effect, the OIG was questioning the propriety of an arrangement in which the TSA agent would use his or her power to tip off the DEA to the presence of cash in travelers' luggage, and then receive compensation based on how profitable that information was to the agency. Robert Everett Johnson, an attorney for the libertarian public interest law firm Institute for Justice, says the same criticism could be made about the entire practice of civil asset forfeiture, which allows enforcement officials to seize a person's property, including cash, cars, jewelry, and houses, without obtaining a conviction or even charging the owner with a crime.
Will there be anything else, sir?
Yeah, I emptied the register and put the money in the bag.
Excuse me?
So give me your money and all of it, and don't fuck with me! Now move!
This really is what we've seen every day around this country. When law enforcement takes property using civil asset forfeitures, law enforcement is able to keep the property and use it to fund their budgets, and in many cases even to pay the salaries of people who are overseeing the forfeitures, said Johnson. That creates an obvious financial incentive to take property from people who haven't done anything and haven't been proven to have done anything wrong. It creates an incentive for all kinds of abuse, he added. Civil asset forfeiture has become a critical source of revenue for law enforcement over the past decade, with state and federal agencies now taking in hundreds of millions of dollars in property and likely more each year. Cash has meanwhile emerged as a favorite target for police, even if it's just hundreds or thousands of dollars.
All right, everybody, hands up, heads down. I said hands up, heads down. Let's go, pal. I'm making a withdrawal here.
Transportation hubs are a particular point of focus for the DEA. In 2015, the OIG reports found that from 2009 to 2013, the DEA seized $163 million in 4,138 individual case seizures, many of which were contested and later overturned. So not only are they stealing people's money and property, which the people probably need, then the victims have to waste money on a lawyer, and the taxpayers have to waste money on all the court expenses. Aren't you just pleased as punch at your tax dollars at work? The agency has also come under fire in recent cases that involves agents seizing cash from airline and train passengers, and in some cases, allegedly shaking them down. In the Justice Department report from January, the OIG also called out the DEA for paying an Amtrak informant nearly $1 million over 2 decades to provide them with passenger information that was already available to the agency. Once again, aren't you just pleased as punch at your tax dollars at work? Law enforcement officials regularly tout civil asset forfeiture as an important tool for fighting the drug trade because it allows them to go after property directly without any evidence of criminal behavior on the part of its owner. Whoa, wait a minute. So we've pretty much done away with the whole innocent until proven guilty thing for so-called terror suspects. But now for the rest of us, it's assumption of guilt without any evidence necessary more than you're probably worried about credit card fraud. And what's the excuse? Drug traffickers, they say, are smart enough not to carry cash and contraband at the same time. Well, tough shit. You're the drug enforcement agency, not the cash enforcement agency. So the next time you forget which substance you're supposed to be on the lookout for, just take a look at your own agency's name, and that should give you a fucking clue. Of course, it's not actually illegal to put a few $1,000s into a checked bag, but in the mind of some drug warriors, an individual carrying a large amount of cash must have attained it illegally, even if the authorities can't prove it.
Especially if the bag belongs to a minority.
Hey! Shut up!
Sorry, sir.
But really, how much farther must this vomiting stimulus program called the War on Drugs be allowed to limp along before it's put out of its misery? Well, actually, all of our misery.
Yes! Yes! Oh, yeah! Can you feel that, buddy?